how did you come to work at Piano Craft? Was it just happenstance, or did you want to learn about the mechanism of the piano?
Well, I was a mechanic. I was working on cars and rebuilding motors, and that's what my dad did. And he was a mechanic and an engineer and a machinist. And that's really what interested me, is all the moving parts in a piano. There's like 10,000 moving parts in a grand piano. So I was very interested in how mechanisms worked, and I wanted to learn how to put pianos together and rebuild them. And that was really my main interest. I came into it wanting to rebuild pianos. I didn't have any interest in tuning pianos. But Jim McGee, when I was hired there, told me I'd have to do both of them, that you can't do one or the other.
So you have a good ear?
I have a decent ear. I have a trained good ear.
Your friend Eric's nodding.
Yeah.
He has a very good ear.
So you came to work there thinking you were going to learn the mechanics of the piano. You'd been playing as a musician in your home for fun.
Yeah.
And
about 3 years. Yeah.
And you were, so if you started when you were 15, you must have been about 18 when you went to work there.
Yeah, I was 17 and a half when I started working for Jim as an apprentice. I actually had to work for him for free first couple of weeks to get him to even hire me. But
people don't understand that.
That's a lost art today.
They don't understand that.
Yes. And the drive to be willing to do that. It's amazing.
There's so many people that I mentor that say, well, I'm not going to take that job because of some ego. And you're like, that's an opportunity you're going to miss to learn something or to prove yourself or to move up. Warren Buffett said when he was talking to a bunch of MBA students at Harvard, and they said, how do you get a job when you graduate from where you want to, at a place you want to work? And he said, pick out a company, which is what you've done, what you did, Steve. Pick out a company you want to work at, and then get a job that fits with your lifestyle and the way you think about things, that aligns with your values. And then get a job there, even if you're the janitor. Get your foot in the door, and then work your way up and prove yourself.
Find a mentor.
And in your case, find a mentor. And that's what you did. I hope if any young people listen that they're thinking, just find a place you like, get in there and prove yourself. So let's talk about Jim McGee, your mentor. He worked for 20 successful years in Scandinavia.
Yeah.
In the business of pianos. And so I assume he's an immigrant to America?
No, actually, he was born and raised in Little Rock, Arkansas. And he went to school in Texas under, I'm trying to remember the name of the school where he learned how to tune pianos and start working on them. And then he moved over to London and trained with Steinway there, and then moved over to Denmark, Copenhagen, and took care of the Royal Danish Conservatory there, and had a rebuilding shop where he rebuilt Steinways there also for 20 years. Then he came back here to the States, and around 99, 98, around that year, he came back to Little Rock and started Piano Craft.
Wow. That's a big life.
Yeah. And now he's actually helping me a little bit here.
Oh, is he still alive?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
he became a Steinway dealer up in Kentucky. And then
he moved again.
Yeah, he moved again. And now he just moved back about a year ago, and he is helping me.
Do you know why he came back the first time? No?
No.
And then he stayed here? And he sold you Piano Craft, I guess, in 2010?
Yeah, it's actually kind of a long story, but he brought a business partner in probably 6 or 7 years after I'd already been there. And maybe 10, I can't remember. But he brought a business partner in, and then he actually sold his business to his business partner. And then his business partner offered me half of the business, and I bought it. And then we split the business, and I started Stephen's Piano Shop.
So, Eric, when he went to work for free for this guy, he had no idea he was going to end up owning the shop within 10 years. That's a great story. So, as an apprentice, you learned tuning,
yes,
which you weren't really interested in, but he said you had to learn it.
Yeah, I couldn't have done any of this without tuning.
What does it say when you said on your website, voice?
Voicing is, so tuning corrects the pitch of a piano. You know, it just makes a piano sound in tune, I guess. I mean, no better way of putting it without getting too technical. But voicing is the actual voice of the piano, whether it's warm, whether it's bright, dark, round, sharp, all the different colors that you hear in the piano, how to release the colors in a piano and get more overtones and get the hammers to fit the strings and hit them all just right at the same time.
That's why you hear some pianos and they sound pretty to you, and you hear other pianos and they just grate on your middle nerve.
And they might be in perfect tune. Both of them could be in perfect tune, but then some of them just sound.
It's the voice.
Yeah.
There's a real artistry to that. One of the highest paid trained person in a piano shop in a place that builds pianos is the person that they entrust to give the voice to that piano.
So can any piano have any voice, or is it just an upright sounds one way, a great grand sounds another, a spinet sounds one way?
A lot depends on the piano. With a piano like a Steinway, the opportunities are endless. You can literally tailor that piano to what you want. With some other pianos, whether, even though they're very good pianos, you could be limited. It depends on how they make the hammers and the chemicals that might be used in the felts. You might be limited there. We might be able to make it a little brighter or a little darker sounding, but with a Steinway, we can sit down and lay the color palette out and say, what do you want?
Yeah.
So in the movie The Green Book, where the guy said, I'll only play on a Steinway
Yes.
piano, he could go anywhere to play on a Steinway, and it doesn't mean that it's going to have the same voice, though. So,
Exactly.
So when people say to me about Dreamland Ballroom, you need to get a piano up here, I'm always like, well, how do I know what kind of piano the artist is going to want? That seems like a risky thing to do.
Here's a simple fact that I tell everybody that comes to the gallery. Approximately 98% of the world's artists that play piano for a living play Steinway pianos. And Steinway's never paid a single one of them to do it.
Yeah.
So you have comfort as an artist that even though this Steinway might be different than this other Steinway, the touch, the basics that make Steinway
That
are going to
golden
be
tone.
there.
Yeah.
Yes. And depending then on how you play it, it's going to give you back what you want. And no other piano on the planet can do that. And that's
So I guess keys always feel the same on a Steinway,
within reason.
which would make it, to me, like every time you go to a new piano, you're like, oh, the keys have got more or stiffer or not.
It kind of depends on also who's been taking care of the piano.
Yeah.
You know?
In 2016, you decided you wanted more training, and this time with Steinway. What prompted the need to get more learning?
Well, at the time, I had just started working with UCA, and UCA is they are becoming an all Steinway school, which means that they're going to have all Steinways, and they need them kept up by a Steinway technician, someone who's trained by Steinway. I saw that coming. I saw that they would have all Steinways in a few years, and I saw the opportunity as their technician to get my foot in the door and be able to go to New York and do training. Otherwise, if you're a technician, you can't just call Steinway up and say, hey, I want to come do some training up there in New York under your head techs. You have to be suggested, you have
Recommended.
to be recommended by another Steinway dealer. And at the time I was working with a Steinway dealer out of Memphis who was working with UCA, and they knew I was going to be the technician for UCA. And, so they were able to secure me a spot in a training program up in New York.
So now I guess you're not working with Memphis anymore.
No, I'm not. So I trained in New York with their head tech there, Kent Webb.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, the training was it was really fun, actually. I loved it. And actually, since Jim taught me everything that he had learned from Steinway in London, it was almost like I was just doing a repeat of my apprenticeship. They were teaching me the exact same stuff. So,
A refresher course.
yeah, I was ahead of the game when I came in there. So,
Well, it's nice to be
Yeah.
the top student, isn't it?
teacher's pet.
Teacher's pet.
Yeah.
So then you come back, and I guess because of that training,
That was part of it. Yeah.
I guess because of that, in 2017, Steinway, Steinway asked you if you wanted to be an exclusive dealer.
Yes.
You think it's because of that training?
It was partly because of that, yes. Yeah. It was, I was able to meet quite a few people up there in the offices at Steinway when I was there.
Can anybody sell a Steinway, but only some people are specified?
Mhm.
Or do you have to be the only dealer that can sell a Steinway?
The better question is, anyone can sell a piano, if you're a decent salesperson. But to sell a Steinway is an exclusive, years of knowledge based thing. because you're asking, let's say it's parents of a young child, you're asking them to take a big financial leap, and have a lot of faith that this is something that'll be a part of their family forever. A Steinway is rarely an instrument that someone dips their toe in. You know, they might have a child who's taken piano lessons for a year. Steinway is a big financial purchase for most families. And,
So don't buy it for your kid if he's just starting
well,
out.
no, but you need to talk to
No,
someone.
definitely buy it for your kid.
Definitely buy it for your kid. Yeah. What I'm saying is, it's kind of the difference between selling a Lamborghini or maybe selling a Honda.
Yeah.
You know, a basic good salesperson can sell a Honda, but when someone's shopping for a Lamborghini, the person standing in front of them better have the experience and the knowledge.
So
to
when it
handle
says
that.
I'm an exclusive Steinway dealer, it doesn't mean there's not somebody else in the state selling a Steinway.
Well, no, actually, yeah. To
Yes,
that
it does.
question,
It does.
Yes. Yeah. You can't call up Steinway and order pianos and sell them.
And nobody else is allowed to sell a new Steinway out of their showroom but you.
That's right.
If you liked this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the picture of Kerry's face in the center of the screen. To watch the full-length interview, click the video in the top right. For more interview highlights, click the video in the bottom right. Thank you for watching.